I live my life a quarter mile at a time.
Welcome back to the Quarter Mile Podcast. Thank you all for joining us. I'm here, as always, with the most amazing co-host on earth, CJ Walton. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. If you're joining us, this is the episode where we are reviewing the movie Torque. We're very excited to talk about it. And you might be looking at this, if you're watching us, you're looking at this amazing group of people, and you're like, wait a minute. Where have I seen that young man before? Our guest today in our episode on Torque is our first repeat guest.
He's an alumni.
He's an alumni.
So good to be back.
And listen, you all may not recognize him because the last time you saw him would have been September 21st in 2024 when he was taken over by the spirit of Vin Diesel.
Yeah, it was such a great character to get into, to really embody the baldness of that
I
man.
was about to say, please tell me you got bald.
I had a bald cap.
Nice.
I had a sleeveless mechanic shirt. And
Nice.
I had, big old boots.
Nice.
To walk tall as Vin Diesel does.
I love that.
He gave us a fantastic rendition of the plot of F9, the Fast Saga, and it was
Still burned into my brain.
If you all are just wanting to check out something amazing after watching this amazing episode, please go check out our 9th episode where we covered F9. It is a live episode recording. It was a complete fever dream of chaos in the best possible way. If you watch the video that
I'm still not sure it happened.
I don't know. I think it happened. Yeah,
real.
there is a mural behind us of Ninja Turtles. We have 5 guests on it. it was a lot. CJ,
I missed that, especially the Ninja Turtle part.
Oh man, it's in Memphis, High Tone Cafe in down.
So I love you. You know that you can't keep me out of Memphis.
Some Ninja Turtles.
Love Memphis.
So Zach, I think all tens of our viewers really want to know what has been going on in your life since September 21st, 2024?
I've been working really hard. Memphis comedy is very much a DIY scene. So if you're not out there producing shows, you ain't going to get on any shows. So to that end, I host a weekly mic, Bell Curve Comedy. We've actually got our 1 year coming up at the end of May. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Congrats.
And we also have monthly High Cotton comedy shows where we bring in touring comics from around the country and give Memphis audiences a sample of what's out.
Y'all ain't had me up.
One. We will get on that. I will make some calls, CJ. Don't come at me like that.
Right now on her podcast, she wants to know, can she be on
Firm commitment that she
What I'm saying.
on a
Can
show.
we get that in writing? Verbal commitment.
Yeah.
It's recorded.
It's just I just want to get up there to eat. That's really the only reason.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I was chastised before I got through the threshold for not bringing
was.
barbecue.
He was.
So I apologize
He
about
was.
that. Fall ahead next time. I'd be happy to stop by one and only.
Yeah.
It's not the one and only barbecue.
I'm actually coming up on Friday or over, I guess.
That's right.
So,
We got you in town.
Yeah, for the Bell Curve Comedy Night, which it's a great Urban Consequences Brewery. They have great comedy every Friday night. It's a great brewery, but if you're someone like me who doesn't like drinking, but you're obsessed with soda, they have the best cream soda I've ever had on earth.
I bet I can top that.
Really?
I bet you I can top your cream soda.
Okay.
It's a bar down in Florida.
Okay.
It's on the beach. It's McAllister's or it's something.
That's a sandwich
It's a
shop. That's
McAllister.
franchise.
No. Okay, no. But it is a bar.
Back that up.
No. I swear to God, it's a bar, and they make their own root beer,
Okay, I'm with
and it was
might be on her
Yeah.
side.
and it is fucking fantastic.
So
I promise you, it is ridiculous.
where in Florida is it?
It's in Destin. It's in
Destin.
Destin. It's on the beach.
Is that close to like St. Pete and Clearwater? Is that in the city?
Nah, it's closer to like
Well, now we got to do a Pepsi
Yeah.
challenge.
Pensacola.
You gotta go get some.
Wait.
We got to bring it.
Yeah, we have to
exactly.
go.
You know what I'm saying? We got to do an A/B.
Yeah.
Tune in
Which one's
next
best?
week when we cover whatever.
When we're done with
Fast and
terrible
Furious,
movies,
we're gonna
we'll move on to cream soda evaluation.
I'm trying to tell you, they don't understand. Like I'm My taste buds, it hit different.
Root beer is actually my favorite soda. If I had to, since now you're all wondering, my top three are root beer, Dr. Pepper, and then cream soda. So root beer is number one for me. So
Okay, but of the root beers, how do you rank them? Because there's Barks,
Ooh.
there's Mug, there's
A&W.
A&W.
Mug and A&W are.
I'm going A&W, Mug, Barts.
Okay.
Barks is up top for me.
Really? Is it
Barks
because of the bite?
It does.
Exactly.
Anyway, that's fun. Well, if you're thinking about, man, what else could they talk about other than soda for a good chunk of time? We actually decided to come together to talk about the movie Torque. That's the movie we're reviewing. This is a movie.
Doing that every time you say torque, I'm doing this.
Yeah, if you can't see it, CJ's flexing her muscles. Just I'm a little. It's intimidating, honestly. I feel less safe on this couch.
For this.
This was a movie, and so the reason we're covering it in our season 2 Fast and Furious adjacent films is because they one, I like to call this movie Fast and Furious with motorcycles.
Yes.
For sure.
And two, they have a quote where they literally reference Fast and Furious in it.
Yes, they do.
And those two things were enough for me to be like, it's on the list.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
This movie came out in 2004, a year after Too Fast, Too Furious, might we add. The budget was $40 million, and it made a grand total of $48 million. So they didn't.
Money.
Yeah, they didn't lose money.
They did not.
Its cast was Ice Cube as Ice Tray. Honestly, just Tray, but I thought it'd be fun to call him Ice Tray. Martin Henderson as Carrie Ford, who you may know him from Grey's Anatomy or The Ring. I think it's Monet Mazier as Shane, the girl. She was in Mystery Men, and she was in a season of Chuck. So, big names.
I don't recognize any of these names so far, but there's a whole other world out there that I can delve into.
Absolutely, yeah. For me, the actor that stole the show was Matt Schultz as Henry, who was the villain, one of the villains, and everyone who's from this podcast probably knows him as Vince from Fast and Furious.
Right.
And if you ever saw Past 9 or before 9, he was a major character.
You think I'm watching Fast and Furious films at home outside of relation to this project? Sorry, bud. I'm not.
That's disappointing for both of us.
I've yet to be indoctrinated, but there's still time.
There's hope.
Well, here's what I know about Vince is he is the most hated and most beloved character in Fast and Furious. People either will be like, he's actually not that bad of a guy, or people are like, he was disgusting. Anytime we posted a reel about Vince, that was one of the ones that would do well.
Interesting.
Because people had strong
opinions. Love a villain.
So everyone on the podcast, and myself included, absolutely loved him, and so Bailey did not, and we just kind of gang up on her, and we told her how wrong
she's not here anymore.
Yeah, that's what happened to her. I said, if you can't have good movie opinions, you can't be on this podcast.
Yeah, get out of here.
My favorite actor of the group was Adam Scott, and he was in this movie as the bad FBI officer.
Adam Scott.
And you might know him from Parks and Rec. Also, he was on a Fast and Furious podcast and would come back every time they did a new movie. So he's actually a Fast and Furious fan too. So Adam Scott, if you're listening to this podcast, we'd love to have you on.
Like Adam Scott.
Yeah. He's a good actor.
Yeah. So everyone who's watching this podcast or listening to it right now, what you're really wanting is, if you remember back in the F9 days when we got the Vin Diesel transfiguration of Zach Williams, when he gave us the amazing movie summary of F9, and you've tuned into this episode because you're like, is he going to do it again? Is he going to put a wig on and be Shane from...
I can't put on a Keith Urban wig.
I mean, the way I looked over there so fast, like, please tell me he has something in his pocket. Like, bruh, I am here for all of the shenanigans.
Jacket.
He's just dressed as a normal person.
I am here for the shenanigans.
Helmet, like drove here in a car with a motorcycle.
Oh yeah, that would have been.
Oh my God, that would have been awesome. We could have just did the podcast outside on his bike. That
would have been cool. And it's a motorcycle movie, so that would have been perfect. We have a plot summary from our very own Zach Williams, and Zach, we're going to give you the floor.
Great. So feel free to stop me. Anyway, I literally wrote this as I was watching the movie. It just says Torque first watch notes. I tried to write as coherently as I could, but if you need to stop me to talk about any of these points, please do. I put in brackets close-ups because there's a lot of that in this movie.
So many.
It starts off, we have a red light, and there's a race, and then a turtle comes up, and then cars suck. That's like the first few beats of this movie. Then we have child labor at the gas station, which this is a common theme noticing in the Fast and Furious films. They do not give a shit about child labor laws.
You know what? He has
them children need to earn. So the child is working at a gas station / diner. They have a cat noise as they go into the diner for some reason. And then there's a fight between car people, bike people.
You said there's a cat noise, and then
It's like very specific details stuck out to me watching this. So then we find out that our protagonist, he's there to get a photograph of Ford and Dwayne. I wrote Dwayne, but it's Shane. So Ford and Shane. And then we find out Ford is a drug dealer / bike thief. Ford and his bike buddies, they are heading to a rally. And we learn that James is the bad guy. So now we're starting to get into the tension of the film and the story. So another race, and then a title sequence, bike fight, 18-wheeler, and then someone says, "Don't bring a knife to a helmet fight." I don't think they say that, but that was what I learned.
no, I think they do say that.
Did they actually?
So, yeah.
I think they do say
So
that.
that's
I did that when I did like this.
someone put pen to paper on that, and they were like, "Yes."
Someone was so proud of that dialogue.
Give me a high five.
Like, don't bring a knife to a helmet fight.
I feel bad for the actor. If you read it and be like, oh gosh, I have to say this now out loud.
Sell that.
Yeah, but the actor who
Believe it.
said it,
Another great line that I can't repeat, but I'll just say that Ice Cube knows where sushi comes from.
he does.
He does. He does know that. And then 5th grade logic, get my brother a bike. I don't, again, that might not mean anything to you, but I had to write it down for some reason. And it just says Kid Rock.
Good note. Rocks all over.
In the side of the page, it says, "Is Ford funny?" I think that's like a theme that keeps popping up, like, "Oh, Ford's funny." No, he's not, and it's a topic of debate.
I feel like the answer to that question is no, he is not.
No, I mean, I think he could have been funny. I just think that whoever wrote his lines, whoever wrote his character, wanted him to be funny. He just could not execute.
Right.
I think it's because he knows they're funny lines and he tries to say them like they're funny.
Exactly.
Comedy is in being genuine, is being sincere.
Exactly.
But I don't think the actor knew how to do that at
Right.
the time.
He didn't have the spirit of Ford.
Like if you would have gave him a knock joke, he would have messed that up. Like,
Because he would have been like, hamming it up.
yeah,
Right.
hey,
So I guess they get to the rally at this point, and I didn't know how to summarize it, so I just wrote sex, America, beer, fights, bikes, Pepsi.
That's my favorite kind of rally.
That's all of it. It was all like, again, a lot of close-ups,
Yep.
so you just get like imagery, and that was everything that I caught in that little moment. We find Shane, who is the romantic interest, and she's working on auto parts, just sort of jamming a screwdriver into a turbo cartridge or whatever. And then Ford confronts her. Then I just have the Hellions in quotation marks. Those are the bad guys. We see Jamie Presley as Biker Goth. And
I forgot that. I didn't know that was her.
yeah.
Huh. I'm sorry, Jamie Presley, if you're listening to this. I did not include you in the cast when I mentioned them.
I'm sure she's going to call you up about that.
she is.
Probably. This was probably her like favorite movie that she's ever been in.
So I wrote Jamie Presley as Biker Goth and Team U Thor show up. That's who I have as James, is Team U Thor. They have a Godfather reference between Ice Cube and James. I don't remember what it specifically was, but it made me think of Fast and Furious 9, where they referenced Star Wars.
Yeah.
So another reoccurring theme, Fast and Furious films love to reference better films. Show your ass in quotation marks while a dancer shows her ass in the background. Oh yeah, this is a very specific shot. They're in like a nightclub, and I think it's Ice Cube and another one of his guys are talking, and he gets onto him. He's like, "Oh, you're showing your ass." And if you look in the background, there is a woman's butt.
I didn't notice
gyrating
that.
around. So I think it's a subtle nod.
I do. I remember that.
Okay. This is multiple times I've missed nudity. in
Nudity.
these
And I've told
movies.
you about one of them.
Yeah.
Chapless ass pants, I guess. Assless chaps. Chapless ass. That's not a thing.
Well, no.
Could be if you're in a good mood.
Yeah.
So then they have a bar fight. Junior gets jumped in the bathroom and they murder him.
Yes.
Yes, I wasn't sure at the time. I tried to keep a track of like how many times I've had to rewind the film to clear something up. I stopped counting after 2.
Wait, two?
After 2, I just knew if I was gonna pause it every time, I'd still be watching this thing.
It's good for you. You and
press
TJ both give it a good effort. One of the movies we recently
All I could do.
watched, she watched 3 times to
And
try
I
to make it
did.
a good movie.
And I do want to thank you for sending me the link to this movie because I think it made it better watching it with so many pixels.
Right.
Like, truly, to appreciate this film, it needs to be watched on a Nokia phone. That is the proper
Absolutely.
way to consume this content.
I agree.
Okay, so like Junior gets murdered, and then Ford and Shane, they rekindle romance at the motel, and we find out Ford was framed. Dun dun dun. And then we meet Adam Scott as punk rock federal agent who hates his wife.
He so does.
Sets up the character, and he kills it, man. He's like he's the one guy who knows like how to act through a scene, and yeah,
Right.
he brought a lot to it. So we find out the Hellions have so they have a group urination for team building. That's the shot where they're all backs to the camera, just
Absolutely.
on the road.
That's what you got to do.
That's how you
Is that not life?
the unit.
Yeah,
That's not what men do? Is that
Oh, that's motorcycle life.
got
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, if you drive
only
a
the
car-
motorcycle gangs do
Yeah,
that.
that's a motorcycle gang thing. So Ford and friends, they run from Ice Cube and the Reapers. Ford and friends hide in a cave with overhead lighting. Thought that was a great scenic choice. And then we have the line quarter mile at a time. And then Shane says that's dumb, or that's the dumbest thing
I
ever.
have ever heard. Yeah.
So that's the reference
I
to
felt personally attacked by that after having to put that line before at the
that's
beginning
the
of all my
connective
podcasts.
tissue that brings this movie into the
Okay.
Fast
Yeah,
and Furious
absolutely.
universe.
You know you have to live your life a quarter mile.
Yeah. And that's
It's the dumbest thing I've ever
as
heard.
we get to self-awareness
Oh.
of this whole thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So then they have a bike chase in palm trees.
Yes.
We have motorcycle on a train, CGI, motorcycle in a train, Western train rescue. And that's, I guess, where Ford rescues Ice Cube from getting run over on the train tracks, spaghetti Western style. So then we
That
have...
was a cool moment.
Yeah, I thought so. You know, it had like the Cape Fear moment where he's behind the train and then the
Yeah.
train's gone and then he's gone. So then we have Ford and friends sneak onto a racing truck and they make it to LA. And then we have a Dane Cook cameo. Didn't see that coming.
Most useless cameo.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Doesn't further the plot, doesn't really do much,
Even a little bit.
but good for him. You know, he got in the movie. He
That's
got
'cause
that
he was
that
hot
money.
right then, boy.
And then they get out of the truck, and doing so, Adam Scott almost gets decapitated. And then they have a highway chase. And then I just have Pepsi, Pepsi, Pepsi. I think if there's a drinking game to be played with this movie, it's drink every time you see a Pepsi logo. Enjoy your liver disease.
Yeah.
So Adam Scott almost crushes Dane Cook to death because his vehicle flies through the air and lands on Dane Cook's car.
Such a useless cameo. Like I kept waiting for that to and then he ended up being a person that mattered in the film.
No, just more senseless car destruction. But you know that's kind of what the film's about.
Yeah,
So
that's a good point.
So then Ford explains things to Ice Cube that he's been framed and all this. And then Adam Scott double crosses his partner and reveals he's been working with the Hellions. Now they're like closing the film down. But then we have fights, chains, bikes, fire, meth, Y2K bike. And then one of my favorite lines, it's a call and response. I think it's Ford says, "Got to go get that bike." And then someone else says, "I got to go get that bitch." So, like, we're going to chase after Jamie Presley now. And then the good cop blows up the bikes and the meth, destroying all their evidence for the case. That's pretty loose cannon cop behavior.
He said loose cannon cop behavior.
So, like, then Pepsi, Mountain Dew, girl bike fight, jousting, they come at each other. Soda logos everywhere. CGI bike chase, big explosion, need a ride, which is a very campy line. Then Shane's shop is gone because it blew up. So now she tells Ford to take her to Mexico. Nickelback plays, bikes right away, roll credits.
Love it.
Yeah, someday.
What a great song.
Nickelback.
Yeah,
Every
that's
song is.
fun.
I enjoy Nickelback, and I'm not ashamed to say it.
I'm not ashamed to say it
I'm
either.
proud. I'm good for you. I'm happy for that. For you.
They hate on Nickelback so hard, man. That don't mean no harm.
They just do the same song all the time, and it's a good song.
They don't, but if you listen to the lyrics of Someday, like he says, someday, somehow, I'm going to make this right, but not right now. So like that's the consenting dude. No offense to you, who responds to Fast and Furious is like, I'm gonna fix my relationship, babe. I'm gonna put the work in tomorrow.
Yeah.
Just not right now.
Not right now. Why now? Why do I have to fix things now?
Speaking of relationships, the whole time I was watching this movie, when I was thinking about Ford and Shane, I was like, is this romantic or is this creepy? Thankfully, she took it well. But if you had a drug dealer, motorcycle thief, ex-boyfriend who's in prison and you spent years getting your life back together and now you got a cool job at a bike place, first thing he does after prison is go back to where you guys used to hang out, get a picture of you, show up, and then like be like, I want you back.
Yeah, no,
and thank God they were soulmates because movie magic.
Yeah.
Now, like there are probably plenty of stories just like that do not end as beautifully.
No doubt. I think there's a lot of guys who saw this film and were either like about to buy their first vehicle or already had, and this was just tacit endorsement for any of that behavior.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, you could be a drug dealer and a scumbag and bike thief, and if your woman doesn't stick with you, then she's not the one.
Yeah,
dude.
just take her on another heist with you. Win her over.
Yeah, blow up her bike shop. Take her to Mexico. Give her a better life.
After you've ruined.
I thought it was creepy the whole time. I'm sorry.
You thought it was creepy the whole time?
The whole time.
So that wouldn't work on you.
Oh no. No.
How would you have, if you were Shane in this movie, CJ, how would you have handled it from moment one?
I probably would have thrown him out the shop as soon as he came in. Like, honestly, the way he came in, it was on some bull. It was on some... I didn't even like the way he was looking at her.
It's great. It was like, he's like, I have paper mache drawings of you.
He feels like the guy who shows up to a high school reunion like, we had something special, babe.
Like, I don't even remember you.
Yeah.
Like, you were the kid, right? Like, you were probably the kid in class that sat behind me that breathed, and I was like, "Who is this?"
Right? Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's like, we spent every
math class together. Like,
we were something special.
Like, I don't know.
You guys just described every crush I've ever had.
Oh, it got sad.
But yeah, no, I think he was creepy the whole entire time.
Yep. Another question I thought about when I was watching this movie was, why is Ice Cube always so angry in literally everything?
Because I think he'll melt. He has to stay cold.
I've often wondered that, even when he was in, what was it, Daddy Daycare or some shit?
Yeah, he's still angry.
Everything I've never seen him without a scowl. And even his smile.
It's a scowl.
Yeah, he's smiling because someone's in pain. Like,
the only time I've seen him smile is when he's with his wife.
Oh, that's sweet.
That is it.
And that's not, and I would like to believe that as soon as they yell cut, he can get out of that character. I'd hate to think that it's...
Did see him. No. I did see him. If you go online, it is a small video of him. He's working, scowling, and then somebody's literally yelling out, "Ice Cube!" He was like, "I'm working," and he was like, "I love you. I love you too, but I'm working." Like, well, he's focused,
driven individual,
but he loves you. But
he's just not like soft about it.
He's just. You're right though. Like, Cube is. I mean, even at his concerts, even when he's smiling, he's smiling.
Yeah, he's feeling it. So
he is feeling it. That's the thing.
That's face.
That's just him.
It's intense, man. He's at a 10.
He might be the original RBF face.
Oh, do you think he's the original, or do you think
who was it before Ice Cube
that had that scowl?
Wilford Brimley.
Yeah. Okay, Wilford Brimley. No, just when he was in his lines, he's like, "It's cool, man. I forgive you. We're on the same side." He looked so angry. I was like, I would not believe that man one instant.
I'd hate to be a director of his. Just like, can we do another? You know what? Never mind. You're good. You're good.
Like, I can believe that.
The other question I had in this movie was, what did they have against cars? This was such a mean movie to Cars. Right off that, Cars sucked.
Nashville traffic had me.
You were siding with him on your way here.
On a motorcycle, I was like, "Oh, I get it."
It was a because Cars.
No, and then later he's like, only assholes drive cars. I'm like, okay, I have a car.
Hard stance to take too, like especially when I could just get you off the road with being.
That's how I felt about it.
For as hype as they were about motorcycles, it felt like the directors didn't know how actual motorcycles worked. I was like, I don't think motorcycles can do that.
No.
Well, no, they couldn't go. Whatever that makeshift ramp was, and
Or when they were like jumping, like when he jumped onto the motorcycle and then the guy jumped back on to drive the car that he was in.
yeah,
Of course, the motorcycle jousting that
Crazy CGI for all this. That's
Absolutely.
not physics. Doesn't work there.
for me personally, here are the three things that saved this movie because I was pretty bored
Tell.
for most of it. As much as I enjoy making fun of the motorcycle antics, those were hilarious to me, and I enjoyed them. And of course, so that's one is just the motorcycle antics in general, but then especially the last terribly CGI scene where he's on like the super fast motorcycle and he's like literally being caught on fire, but somehow he has the speed force from the Flash on him where he's able to handle that kind of velocity. Like it was so bad that I laughed with joy. I was like, this was what I signed up for. This is the kind of dumb Fast and Furious type stuff I come to expect from movies like this.
Totally.
And that part delivered it for me. I honestly was not enjoying the movie until the Adam Scott twist, until he turned out to be a bad
twist.
Yeah, until he was like an FBI officer.
Interesting.
And I was like, okay, this is something that's interesting to me.
I like him as like a nonchalant kind of actor. Like to him, for me, Party Down is a great series.
Yeah.
Because he just looks over it all the time and he's like there, but he's just contemptuous of everybody. So I liked his character throughout the entire movie. And I mean, he wears Converses.
Well, yeah, I kept thinking he was. I kept
to love.
I kept thinking him and his partner were like the most useless cops, over the top uselessness.
I am dead right now. He said he wears Converse, so what's not to love?
He listens to the Ramones on his way to the crime scene.
Jesus, what does the Converse have? Any like? Do the shoes matter?
I think it's the attitude attached to the shoes.
I love it.
Yeah, Adam Scott doesn't have Ice Cube's scowl, so he needs other things.
He needed shoes.
I think that him and Ice Cube hang out outside of.
I hope so.
I want to see a buddy cop movie with Adam Scott and Ice Cube.
Oh yeah, that would be my movie.
I would watch that.
That would be my movie right there.
Ice Cube, if you're listening to this,
you know what to do, buddy.
I really do feel like Adam Scott and Ice Cube probably hang out outside of.
That would be a cool hang.
Yeah,
it's a balance. Yeah.
So, what were y'all's any extra additional thoughts and opinions of this movie?
Yeah, I think one of the things for me that made it really difficult to connect to this film was the protagonist. Don't remember the actor's name, and that's a tell right there. Like Vin Diesel, you know who that is. You could spot him and recognize him. But the main actor in this one, he's like a middle Pokemon.
Yeah.
Skinnier, he'd be Jesse Eisenberg. If he were a little bit bulkier, he'd be Thor. But instead, he's just there. And that's what he was, like a Keith Urban knockoff. Like I just couldn't attach to him.
I mean, that's how I felt about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
That I felt like they cast him because he looked like he thought, or they thought he was an attractive male lead. But he just kind of blended into the cast.
I felt like he was like a Kmart brand Paul Walker.
There you go.
Oh,
yeah.
I wouldn't even give him Kmart. I was going with Radio Shack.
Radio Shack, Paul Walker.
Yeah, he had the jawline to where he didn't really have to act. It was just like, okay, smolder for a little bit on scene, and we'll get everything we need around.
See, that's the thing. His smolder was just so.
He didn't do it. Like I that was one of the notes I wrote. It was like, I don't care about this main character at all.
Yeah, which is good because he wears a helmet for some of the film, so you can just get absorbed in the bike persona and not so much his acting.
Yeah.
That's the best way to call it.
Yeah.
And he's been in what lately?
I'm sure he's gone on to do other things.
He was eventually in Grey's Anatomy and The Ring.
That's The Ring.
So, and I think if I remember correctly, he's in a lot of like scary movies. Like he's
that's better.
That's better for him. Yeah.
Yeah, he needs intensity around him.
He looks like the dad who's the scary stuff is happening around them, and he's getting the kids to the
Everyone, wait here. I've got to go inside and check things out.
Yeah,
grabs a shotgun from the cellar and then gets eaten by the darkness.
That's him. That's him.
That's a good one. There you go. That's a role for you, Henry Ford.
Is his name Henry?
His last name's Ford. His first name was Carrie Ford.
Scary.
They gave them all car related names. Like this did feel like a Fast and Furious fan fiction.
I mean, it was.
It was kind of a Mad Lib, and I go back to like the number of Pepsi logos that I counted in the screen. It's like, man, this is a.
I love that drinking game.
cat.
That's the drinking game. I love that. Yeah.
yeah. The Ice Cube also had a line where like, "Get me a Diet Pepsi."
I remember
It
that
really has a lot.
Torque brought to you by Pepsi.
Exactly.
because that was the only soda at the time.
So yeah, I like a good Pepsi. I'll take it. Anyway, here's some bad movie reviews.
Oh yeah, I want to hear this.
So these are found just randomly on the internet, and they're here for your enjoyment. The most hilarious cringe fest I'll ever torque about.
Okay.
Bruh.
You should have been writing for Torque.
Yeah.
I would have been cool.
I could have made it in the film.
The ads make Torque appear to be some movie that's all action with scantily clad women, studly bikers, and fighting. And yes, there's still truth in advertising.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I like
going. I like all of these.
this is the last one. I liked it because, well, you'll see why when I read it. Torque is a movie for those who thought Too Fast, Too Furious was too long and too mentally taxing.
Ah,
Yeah, for sure.
that was a good one.
Yeah,
Couldn't follow the plot lines. Fast and Furious. This one's for you.
they're like that's too challenging. Let's
Four wheels. What? No, I need two.
absolutely. So we're at the point of the movie, and well, not the movie. What are we doing? We're doing a podcast. We're not filming a movie. Got it. We're at the point of the podcast where we get to give our Too Fast, Too Furious ratings. Too Fast as you loved it, Fast as you liked it. Our Furious is whatever, or you didn't like it, and then Too Furious is your life is less than because of it. So, who would like to get us rolling?
You're the guest.
I'll be the guest. Whatever the one that was meh.
Okay,
Yeah,
so Furious.
Furious. Just like, I know this isn't for me. I know that there are people who have bought Kid Rock CDs. This is for them, and I want them to have that so that they can find something constructive and do bike stuff.
Okay.
On behalf of those people, thank you.
You're welcome.
I've never bought a Kid Rock CD, but I feel like I have a good hang with those people. Like I feel like they'd be like, I feel like we'd have a lot to talk about.
You'd fit right in for sure. Just keep with Fast and Furious. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Real
And
conversation.
open up with Fast and Furious and make a new best friend.
I am going to go with Too Furious.
You've given two Furiouses in season 2.
Yeah. I hated this one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What was like the main sticking point, you think?
When it started.
While it was on my screen, I was filled with rage.
It started.
Fair enough.
So disappointed. Like, and then my homeboy Sean was in it. I'm like, Junior, I'm like, what is
Disappointed. What were your expectations?
I don't know. Because it was motorcycles, so I was just like, ooh, maybe this is gonna be something different. But I remembered it. I thought it was gonna be funny. And then I watched it again. I was like, oh, that's why I cut this off in 2004. I hated it. Hated
So you
it.
had to revisit it. You actually
Yeah,
watched
this
it.
it like brought up we triggered
That's trauma.
we triggered CJ with Torque.
Yeah, so that
Torque
was
triggered.
like as soon as it's so
Yeah.
that's my movie rating. Yeah.
Too Furious. I'm going to be a little bit more optimistic. It was fixed. Will I watch it again? Probably not. Will I go tell friends they all need to go see it? Absolutely not. Did I laugh out loud at the stupid motorcycle stuff? Yes.
You can find the silver lining. There's things to enjoy. Again, goth Jamie Lee Presley.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'll give you Goth Jamie Lee.
But beyond that, when they talk,
Oh, yeah.
like if they could just communicate through bike revs, I think it would be a better
Speak
film.
through their bikes.
Like
Yes.
Morse
Movie where the bikes are the main characters, like it did. That would be great. Yeah. Fair enough.
Torque 2. Come on, man. Let's make it happen.
No, let's it's not. It's not and say we did.
I think.
I think they already made it, as a matter of fact. It's called the B movie. No, I'm just playing.
Don't throw shade to the B movie by comparing it to Torque.
That's right. You're right, because the B movie is amazing.
Speaking of B's and second letters in the alphabets, it's time for CJ's best bits, and she is currently second in our competition. So that was a tough one. I had to stretch.
great.
We had to,
Yeah. Around.
B's for best bits. Right. So So I'm not leading, that's not cool, and I don't like to lose. So these are my 3 top, and I'm just gonna go on and give them to you right now. Let's see if you can guess.
Zach, are you familiar with how this works?
feel like I've seen this before, but I could use a refresher.
So she's going to give us 3 scenes, or her 3 best scenes, it sounds like. And we're both going to try to pick the one that she's picked as like her best scene.
Oh, okay.
And if you pick it correctly, I get a point. If you pick it incorrectly, she gets a point.
All right. Game.
All right. The scene where they are fighting and they're on the motorbikey wikeys, and then they're in the woods.
Sorry, Grandma, did you just forget the word motorcycle?
I did.
Okay, cool.
But you don't want to address the choice she made to replace it?
Bikey wikeys.
There was the only thing that could come to my head
Love
right
it.
there. Bikey wikeys was the only thing.
I think motor bikey wikeys is a great word.
That's the sequel.
Yeah.
Movie.
It's a good movie.
Love it.
Now, but like when it was in the woods, when they did that like motorcycle bam and
The jousting with motorcycle.
jousting and the
Yeah.
jousting.
Good scene.
The Pepsi versus Mountain Dew. Are you ready? Game on, bet, and all of that with the head rolling, which was very. It's my favorite.
I just love hearing these are words that you have to, as you're describing this movie. These are words you have to say out loud.
And these are words. I'm going through the scenes, Mike. And then my scene, and I'm gonna give it to you. My scene where he said, "You got to live your life 1/4 mile at a time." And he was like, "That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard." So, which was my favorite?
I'm gonna
Which scene that I dealt with the most?
I'm gonna say the going through the trees and the bike crash. You seem to have genuine enthusiasm describing that.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with the second women empowerment, Pepsi versus Mountain Dew.
He was right.
Well,
But he was wrong. So that kind of was just a wash. It's 8-5 right now.
And the only reason I and actually I think I tricked you both. That's actually the one that I did like. The one I hated that one the most because it was game on and it was too much. It was too much product placement for
Wait,
me.
so if that's the one, so he was right, Zach was right, and I was wrong.
that's the thing.
I mean, it still doesn't change the fact because then he gets a point for me, and I get a. But
What kind of game is this, man? This is rigged.
the name of the game is called Drew Wins.
That's the name of the game.
Fun.
That was fun. That was we just as we're closing out, there's a really important thing I want to tell everyone who's listening, which is we do have a season 3. We are going to continue reviewing movies. Much like Fast and Furious went from car movies to heist movies to superhero movies, we are shifting gears into season 3, where we're going to be still be reviewing movies, but we have polls up right now where you can pick the genre of what the next season. Where we have a poll going. We got 4 genres. We have action. We have sci-fi. We have comedy, and we also have car movies, which is technically a genre, but we're going to call it a genre. And so you, the audience, get to pick which our genre is going to be for season 3. And then once we have a winner, CJ and I both will be picking 10 movies each.
Right. Yeah. At least 10.
Actually, technically, we're going to pick like 9 and have a People's Choice Award on both sides where you all tell us the movie. So, but the goal is because every time we get together, we both, we're reviewing 2 movies at each gathering. So now it's going to be like CJ picks a movie and I pick a movie. And it's going to be a lot of fun.
I need y'all to pick the best genres, though.
Yeah, there's only one correct answer, and you all know it in your hearts. So
I'm missing a few really good genres. For terrible movies, there are some good genres.
There are some good. I want to go over terrible movies. That's the only movies I ever want.
Me personally, I love terrible rom-coms. So any Hallmark movies, Rodeo and Juliet, terrible.
I'll
check it out. Or low-budget, horrible horror films.
that might become.
I don't want to mess with the formula.
Listen, it's not.
I want all low-budget films.
We talked about it, but we said horror might show up in season 4. Okay, so
good way to think ahead.
Well, because I'm picturing the people who actually watch this for like the Fast and Furious type movies, and then I'm like, and now we're going to review the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. like that might be
Pinhead.
So that's coming up. And speaking of what's coming up next week, we're going to be reviewing. God help me, we're going to be reviewing Fast and Serious, and I might need mental health after we bring that movie back up again. I was not a fan. And also, we want to take a moment and thank our guest Zach for being on here with
Zach,
us.
Thank you so much for having me. This is a lot of
are you coming back?
I would love to come back. I love to come to Nashville anytime I can. Memphis is just 3 hours away. So yeah, definitely love to come
I
back.
thought it was only 2 hours and.
Maybe the way you
When you
I
have
don't
the
know.
when CJ busts out her super fast motorbike,
My bikey white.
Yeah.
When I get on my bikey whitey, I be down there.
I figured it out. So, Zach is going to book CJ to be the headliner at the show that she was asking for before, and then we'll just bring our podcast
That'll be
here,
a prerequisite.
and then we'll just do an episode there.
That's exactly what it needs.
There we go. Problem solved. And where can we find you on social media, Zach?
So you can find me at Zach Williams Comedy on Instagram and TikTok, just Zach Williams on Facebook. Like I said, I have the Bell Curve 1 year anniversary coming up the end of May, and I will be in Alaska for the Before You Die Comedy Festival first week in April.
Ooh.
Also, congratulations. But I laughed a little bit when he said that, but it's cool. And we're going to have all of his stuff down in our episode notes where you can just click and follow him right then and there. And you can also follow our stuff as well, the Quarter Mile Podcast, on literally everything. And if you're watching this, if you're listening to this, we'd love a like, a review, a comment of 5 stars, just whatever you feel like giving us. There's also an option to give us money. You can do that. That's our favorite one.
There we go.
But if you're like, I'd rather just do a 5-star review, that is totally fine. So anyway, you know what? I hope everyone has a wonderful week.
I think they will.
I think if you could go watch a movie that's better than Torque.
Just make your own movie. It will be better than Torque.
Watch a good movie, maybe a little bit's better than what we're reviewing today. Enjoy yourself, and whatever you do, just live your life a quarter mile at a time.
There we go.
Yeah.